Please put your hands together for Nikki Noughani.
Hello. So I kind of tried to dress up because my story kind of goes with the classic rock theme. I'm supposed to be Patti Smith, but yeah, specifically because she has this one song called Because the Night, which was like my jam. So like two things happened in junior year of high school where I just like peaked. One was like my love for classic rock, which was just mostly like that one song and like Bon Jovi because I really liked his hair. And the other thing was like I peaked in teacher's pettiness, which is but being the teacher's pet, not like pettiness. And that was just like my thing. Like I just loved teachers. And in the same week, like the first month of school, I had two different teachers. Like my math teacher first wrote on the back of our first exam, "Do you babysit?" ? And I was just like, hey, I think I'm winning. And then my physics teacher that same week also asked, like, hey, do you happen to babysit? And I was like, yes, I love kids, love you guys, yes. And I'd like never actually like formally babysat before. I just like had helped with kids at like my parents' parties and stuff, and I'm actually kind of awkward with kids because I am like a very logical, let's think through it person, and ironically, terrible under pressure. Like I have this thing where if I feel any emotion too strongly, my body just kind of shuts off. So if I get into a fight with someone, I'll tell them like I need a 24-hour like break from this. I will probably not talk to you for that time. I just need to like think it over. So pressure is not really great for me. So babysitting was great. And this story is about that. My physics teacher specifically, who had two daughters, they're older now, but at the time, one 9-year-old and one 5-year-old, and both super wonderful. First of all, this 9-year-old was just rocking at life. Like, I barely had to do anything because she was just so on top of everything. They got their homework done. The 5-year-old, though, was like a raging, energetic, like, amazing, wonderful, lovely person, but the 9-year-old was like more my speed, and the 5-year-old really loved me, and I didn't know what to do with her. And so, first night I was with them, we had a glow stick party, and it was going pretty well, and then 8 o'clock rolled around, and it was bedtime for the 5-year-old, and I don't know if you guys probably have dealt with children before. I hadn't, but I didn't know that, like, kids don't like it when they have to go to bed, but they know everyone else gets to stay awake, and the 9-year-old got to stay awake, and the 5-year-old was not happy about it, so she's trying to come up with scenarios and, like, just problems that will keep her up longer, and she's, like, creating all of these situations, and I'm just like not sure what to do, so we like get through their prayers and stuff and all of this, and she's like creating new steps, but I'm like not aware of it because I was raised in an Iranian household, so I wasn't aware of like the Christian, like the ritual things that go into praying before like bedtime, and they're doing all of these like things, and luckily the 9-year-old was there, so she like was catching her, but I was like, oh my god, this could be like a 4-hour thing, like I should have started putting them to bed like at like 3. And anyway, so finally get the 5-year-old in bed, the 9-year-old is there to help me out, and the 5-year-old says, okay, one last thing, I want a bedtime story before I go to bed. And I was just like, well, this I've got, because in Iranian culture, we had these amazing bedtime stories. My favorite that I immediately thought of was Kadouqel Ghelizan, which is the story about an old lady. The title is Rolling Pumpkin. And so it's this old lady whose daughter lives on the other side of this dark, mysterious forest. And basically, the old lady decides to go visit her daughter and walks through the forest and meets she meets a tiger, a jaguar, and a lion, I think, and they all say that they want to eat her, and she says, well, wait, I'm going to go visit my daughter, and I'll be back in a month, and I'll be fatter, and you'll have more to eat, so you should definitely just wait, and I'll, like, totally come back. And they were like, cool, we'll take that. We want the fatter version. And so she goes, and her daughter, she decides it's time to return after a month. She's gotten all fat. And her daughter's like, wait, but these animals are just waiting there to eat you. And she says, could you get me a big pumpkin? And so she gets the big pumpkin, Halloween themed. She gets the big pumpkin and like scoops all of the innards out, and she like sits herself in it and has her daughter just like put the top on and just roll her through the forest. And, so this story involves just basically these three animals stopping the pumpkin and asking, like, have you seen this old lady? She's supposed to be coming through. And she's like, oh, I'm just the lowly pumpkin rolling through the forest. Like, you just give me a push and I'll be on my way. This story, then that's not even, so this is my favorite, but there are like way better stories out there, like children's stories in Iran. They're like awesome. But what I didn't know is that 5-year-olds can be scared of these animals and the concept of being eaten. So 5-year-old was not bedtime ready by the time I was done with the story. She was, in fact, quite scarred. The 9-year-old, luckily, was totally there, and I'm under a lot of pressure now because I was like, this was supposed to help, and I'm just realizing that I might have grown up with really terrifying parents. I'm like thinking of all these consequences of that and what I'm going to turn out to be like in the future. And the 9-year-old just totally like swoops in and takes control of the situation, and she's like, and at the end, the grandmother went back and brought the animals a cake, and they all had cake together, and they lived happily ever after. And it was a fantastic end to what I had never thought of as a terrifying story. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikki.